When one door closes, another better door opens. You want to know how I know? Do you want to know how I know? Because it has happened to me over and over and over again. And so I know with the TikTok ban and the way that the world is set up right now, a lot of us got a lot of doors closing in our faces, and it's got us discouraged. It's got us feeling unmotivated. And so I thought for this week's episode, we would get down nitty gritty into my story, and I would share with you 10 times that a setback was turned into a setup for something better in my life. Hopes that it reminds you that better is on its way. Don't stop, queen. Can't stop, won't stop. Maryland. What it do, Drac?
Hello, princess.
Queen. But hello. Beetlejuice.
I love the tiara.
Thank you. The proof is in the pudding, queen. And here's proof number 1. I grew up homeless for the first 17 years of my life, and I got into college, a private university, moved into the dorms, effectively ending my 17-year bout of homelessness, all for free, with a 2.7 GPA. How did I do that? Well, a door closed. I was a part of a program called IMTA, where they trained actors and models in all things acting and modeling. And once a year, you fly to New York to meet with a whole bunch of agents and see if something comes of it. I was in the program, but I needed to fundraise to find the money to get to New York. I could not find the money to get to New York because I was broke. I was homeless with my mom and my brother. There was no way that was going to happen. However, I was a part of this other nonprofit program called Project Remo, Reaching Youth Through Music Opportunities. And I did a lot of public speaking for them. And at one event, I was asked to speak at a fundraising event. I was asked to speak and talk about my experience with Project Remo. But also, I was encouraged to talk about the school program that I was trying to get into. Now, I thought they were talking about my college applications because I was, trying to get into Chapman University at the time. But in reality, they were actually telling me to talk about IMTA so that I can get the money to go to New York. But I messed up and I spoke about Chapman anyways. And guess what? The IMTA door closed that night, but the Chapman door burst wide open. 3 people were in the audience that day. 2 of them knew admissions counselors, and 1 of them knew the president of Chapman University at the time. And they all wrote recommendation letters for me. One door closed, but another one opened.
What's your name now? I must warn you, it's not always this easy.
Boogie fever. While I was studying at Chapman, I got the bright idea that I wanted to study abroad. Not once, but twice. So here's the thing. Studied abroad in Sydney, Australia. Went to the University of Sydney. It was great. It was perfect. It was fun. Tried to study abroad in Milan, Italy, but got cut off at the legs because the visa for Milan states that you must show proof that you have at least $1,000 US for every month you plan on being there. I was supposed to be there for 5 months. I have $5,000. So I thought it was over. I thought it was done. But then I got the bright idea to message the president of the university, because remember, one of those people I met at the Project Remo night, fundraising night, knew the president of the university. So I was just like, you know what? There was someone who, you know, referred my application to you. You watched over my application. You know me well. I've been doing good here at Chapman. Can you hook a sister up? And guess what he did? That. Okay? He hooked me up with a person who was known for just throwing money at people. And what he did was he wrote me a check for $5,000. But he didn't let me keep the full $5,000. He just wrote me a check so that I can show the consulate that I had $5,000 in my checking account. And then he took back $2,000 of that and only gave me $3,000 for the semester. But I ain't do nothing but ask for the money, and he gave it to me still. So, yeah.
Way more than even anticipated, so I don't really know how much longer this lair is going to continue to be a secret. But before we... Hey man, what is that noise?
Hi, Frankenstein and Frankensteinisha. Hello. Oh, yeah. Hello. Yes. Just like you, Queen. Just like you. Hello. Or how do you? Yes. It's a stamp. Yes. It's a stamp. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Get over here, birthday boy. Come on, man. Your last day of 17. Your last day of like childhood right here. Cheese.
So while it's true that I did get into Chapman University and that I didn't have to pay any money out of pocket, I had all scholarships. That's not how it started. I got there still having to pay a little money out of the pocket. Now let's talk about the door that closed for this proof number 3. The door that closed was Alpha Kappa Psi. I was pledging for them. It's a business co-ed fraternity that I was trying to be a part of. And I was kicked out like the first quarter of the whole rush process for Alpha Kappa Psi. However, there was a person that I met during my time with Alpha Kappa Psi who put me in contact with a specific person in the financial aid department. And that woman hooked me up for the rest of my Chapman University time, okay? I never had to pay another dime. All I had to do was say, ask her. But because of that door closing and meeting that one person, I was able to afford college and actually go. For not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 whole years, including a whole year abroad. Please. Now, when I got into college, I was on my own. It was just me. So I didn't have anyone to help me with food or clothing or anything of that nature. So I needed me a job. Let me tell y'all how I fell into administrative assistant. I was working at Knott's Berry Farm throughout high school and before getting into college. But all my mentors told me, oh, quit your job. You know, you're supposed to enjoy life, enjoy college and everything like that. And so I'm not gonna call myself dumb. But as a person who was still learning at the time, I quit my job. Thinking, oh, my mentors got my back. No, they did not. I needed a job. So I had, what is it called? Workplace, like a work scholarship. And so I'm looking for a job. I apply for one position at the school, at Chapman University. And me and the guy clicked really well. It was for his admin. And he ended up not accepting me, not taking me as his administrative assistant. However, one door closed. And what is this, number 4? Proof number 4? He referred me to a woman named Susan Sams. Susan Sams had me do a test, had me do a couple of interviews, and ended up hiring me on the spot. And Susan Sams, to this day, is one of my most beloved mentors. I call her mom number 3, okay? The things she has done for me and my younger brother, God sent. God sent. Also, falling into administrative assistant, which is, by the way, the perfect job for someone who is creative and trying to break out into the entertainment industry. The perfect job to make sure your bills are paid and you don't have to be a broke artist. Administrative assistant, hands down. Hands down. After I graduated from college, it was all on me. You know, I had to, figure out my life, figure out what I was going to do next. Let me tell you how I found housing. And not just normal housing. I found housing for the cheap. For the cheap, okay? So what was I losing? What door was closing? Housing at Chapman University. Remember, I stopped being homeless when I moved into the dorms. And the summer before my last year at Chapman, I took my younger brother in, Leland, and became his legal guardian. So when that happened, legally, Chapman gave us a house to live in for my entire last year of school. So we were giving up a house, a beautiful 2-bedroom house with a backyard and a front yard and a front porch. I messed that up. It was beautiful and it was free. Anyways, so that was the door that was closing, right? But the door that was opening, hear me out. I was a triple major. I was also the social chair for a Black Student Union, who was also hosting the very first Black graduation at Chapman University. Like the very first time it had ever happened, I planned it. I was so busy that I didn't have time to find backup housing or anything like that once I graduated from college. So I was left with that 1 week after graduation to figure something out. I'm Googling, I'm making calls, and somehow, some way, I find a company, a nonprofit called SPIN, Serving People in Need, right? And they helped me find a list of low-income houses nearby in the area. Tell me why. Tell me why. In that 1 week after college, I found a low-income apartment in a luxury apartment complex, all paid for the first year by SPIN. My rent completely paid for, and they took us grocery shopping at Sam's Club, $500 a piece twice. Yo, for the first time ever, my fridge was full. For the first time ever, my cabinets were full. Yo, I'm telling you, when one door closes, another door opens. That's even better than the door that closed. So it's been some time after graduation now, right? And now I'm working full-time, and now I'm paying my own bills full-time, and I'm working for a real estate company, right? Loved this job. Loved it. The only issue, they had a problem with the way that I was styling my natural hair. And they told me that I had to change my natural hair or end up getting fired. This was before California, introduced those laws that protect Black girls and their natural hair. So I ended up getting fired. Yeah. But hear me out. When one door closes, another door opens, right? I got fired on a Friday. Tell me why I had a new job that next Wednesday, making $4 more an hour. When one door closes, another door opens that's even better than the last one. Fast forward to me being a full-time Uber, Lyft, Postmates, Uber Eats driver for 2.5 years. But just 2 months into being a driver, I'm driving at 2 a.m. I pass a green light, but the light just turned green. Another person that was crossing the same intersection but had a red light decides to keep going and T-bones me so bad that I spin down the street, stop, facing the way I was coming. The guy slowed down and then kept going. Hit and run! Hit and run. And you wanna know the worst part? 40 days earlier, I got rear-ended on the freeway. So this hit and run was the second totaled car in less than 2 months. Less than 60 days. Yes. So that door closed for me for a second. What door opened for me? Another administrative assistant job. And not only that, because I didn't have a car to get to and from work, God provided me with a coworker who was willing to drive to my house every morning and pick me up and drive me to work for free. For free. I didn't have to pay no gas money. I didn't have to pay no bus fare, nothing, no Lyft, no Uber, for free. Are you getting what I'm putting down? Are you understanding what I'm trying to have you comprehend? When one door closes, another door opens. Let's keep it going. Okay, let's talk about something that does not put me in the best light. Okay, this is called the Let's Get Real vlog. So, you know, I'm gonna get real, but let me explain. Okay, so I was a full-time Uber and Lyft driver. I got the job, made as an administrative assistant, made more money, got a third car, started driving full-time again, left the job, right? I parked? No. I got a speeding ticket, okay? And I was under the impression that in the state of California, they cannot suspend your license if you can't pay a speeding ticket. Now that is true. However, you still need to show up to the court date and tell the judge that you can't afford to pay for the ticket. I didn't do that. So my last few months driving as an Uber and Lyft driver, I was driving on a suspended license. I didn't know until after the fact. But here's the crazy thing. So the door that closed is the door of me being a full-time Uber and Lyft driver. Actually, this is a little bit different. So this one's a little bit different. But I still want to show you how there's always someone looking out for you, whether it's God, Buddha, Jesus, the universe. Someone is looking out for you and protecting you and watching over you, Queen. Because I was picking up someone for an Uber ride outside of Disneyland. And there were cops at the pickup point and they told me to stop. I stopped, but the cop jumped on the front of my car as if I hit him, right? And so it became this whole huge thing where the cop is talking about how I hit him and how they had to check my license. They took my license to check it. And remember, at the time, I didn't know that I had a suspended license, right? But there was someone there who saw the entire thing, this African dude, who would not let it go. He made a huge hullabaloo about how he saw the cop actually jump on my car. Not just him, but his passengers too, because he was an Uber driver too. He saw the cop jump on my car and he made a huge deal, fussing, ranting and raving about how it was unfair, how they couldn't do that to me. He jumped on the car, blah, 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 this, blah, blah, that. They should be paying for the damage, the whole nine. And because of that, I did not get arrested that night, because that's what should have happened. I should have got arrested for driving on a suspended license. And I didn't. I don't know if they just didn't check the license. or not, but it was a couple more months before I found out that my license was actually suspended. I know, but I didn't know.
All right, friends, go ahead and board your tram. Have your 3D glasses ready to go.
A red tram, 60th anniversary.
So when the tram is moving,
Hit the nitrous!
You know, I cannot forget 2020. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I spent most of 2019 depressed in bed with the covers over my head, like deep depression. And when you're a full-time Uber and Lyft driver who makes money driving, but you're depressed, so you're at home in bed with the covers over your head, you're not making money. So that nice cushy apartment that I had at a low income rate, but in a luxury spot, yeah, I got evicted from that in December of 2019, December 2nd to be exact. So I started 2020 off homeless, having lost everything, my brother, my 2 cats, everything, right? That was the door that closed. But the door that opened, when I finally got down to it, I spent a lot of time like in limbo. But when the pandemic hit, let me tell you this, for a lot of people it was a struggle, but for me it was exactly what I needed. When I got evicted in December of 2019, I went back to work January of 2020. I was furloughed from work because of COVID. I'm sitting up here homeless, living out of a used vehicle, a rented vehicle, Toyota Corolla to be exact. And that is when it just hit me, like, nah, I'm not about this life. So I made a plan to find a home in 6 weeks. I did it in 5. And where was my home? Where was that new and better door that opened up for me? Catty corner to the luxury apartment that I got evicted from. Yeah, I moved into a townhouse with a river in the backyard. Yeah, in 5 weeks. Once I put my mind to it, I said 6, God did it in 5. And he did it in the form of a townhouse on the water. Stop playing with me. Okay, and the final example I want to share with you to motivate you and remind you that when one door closes, another better door opens for you is something that happened just 3 years ago. So going back to 2020, how I overcame that homelessness, that bout of homelessness on my own in 5 weeks is I started my own personal assistant business. By 2021, that was a virtual assistant business. However, at the beginning of 2021, I got fired from the job that I was furloughed at over COVID, during COVID. So, it took me a while to 1, go virtual, and 2, to raise my prices. But I was terrified of what raising my prices would mean. I thought I would lose clients. So the door that closed was the door on the job that I had. And so I was trying to make better for myself by raising my prices, but I was scared. So I applied with a temp agency for this one job that was only in the morning time. And that would give me enough time to work with my clients. 2 weeks later, I'm stepping out of the house to do my afternoon walk. My afternoon walk is a square, and it's about a 90-minute walk, right? I step out, and by the time I get to the first corner of my afternoon walk, I get a call from the temp agency saying, hey, I know you weren't looking for any other jobs, you wanted this particular job, but can I please submit you for this other job? And something told me, God told me, to Just say yes. And I was like, alrighty, fine. And I said yes. Hung up with her, continued my walk. Before I got to the next corner, she calls me back and says, you start tomorrow. I didn't interview. I didn't apply. Nothing. I've been at that job ever since, making the most money I've ever made. Don't even virtual assistant anymore. Or don't even virtual assist anymore because I don't need to. When one door closes, a new, better door will always open. Take it from me. I've shared all these experiences, putting myself on blast because I be going through it. Okay? I be going through it. Trying to reach my purpose, walking my purpose. I be going through it. I'm sharing all this with you to motivate you and get you going because yeah, TikTok might be getting banned. It's not set in stone yet, but it might be getting banned. Yes, you might lose a job. Yes, you might lose your home. Yes, you might lose a friend. Yes, you might lose a lover, but I'm telling you, you're losing them so that you can make room for bigger and better. It might seem dark right now. You might be sad right now, but I'm telling you, Queen, I promise you, it will get better. You will have better. You will be better. A day at Universal Studios just isn't complete without some butterbeer. Oh, yes. That's that good shit. That's that good shit right there. Ooh, oh.